What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Friday Night SmackDown review. I'm going to get started in about 10 minutes once some people file in. Be sure to hit that, subscribe button mainly, and then hit that like button when you make your way into the live. Appreciate it. We got a lot to talk about from tonight's episode in Barcelona, Spain. And again, we'll start up in about 10 minutes once some people make their way in here. But again, in the meantime, be sure to hit that subscribe button and please hit that like button. Give that thumbs up when you make your way in. And if you saw SmackDown tonight, let me know what you thought about it. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Going to start the review in a little less than 10 minutes. Be sure to hit that subscribe. Welcome in. Hit that thumbs up when you make your way here. And we got a lot to talk about. Friday Night SmackDown. What's up, Martinez? Be sure to subscribe. Welcome. Subscribe. Hit that like button. Am I Team Rhea or am I Team Liv Morgan? I love them both, but if you're going to make me pick one, I appreciate Liv's growth over the last 5 years. I'm more Team Rhea, but I do love Liv Morgan. Glazer, what's up, man? Michael Jackson. Richie, what's up? Strang. That's impossible. You can't see from this angle. That's absurd. But thank you for the heads up. Guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button, all you crazy wrestling fans. Maybe some of you aren't. Past or present. We're going to talk Friday Night SmackDown tonight, right? But if you're an old school wrestling fan like myself as well, you're going to want to stick around. If not for tonight, for future lives and daily content. So hit the subscribe button and hit that thumbs up if you're in here. Hit that like button. Drop it in the chat. If you watched SmackDown tonight in Barcelona, Spain, what did you like best? I thought overall it was a pretty solid show. Nothing to write home about, but a lot to be excited for the next 3 weeks while they're over there touring and stuff like that. Smooth Criminal. All right, all right. Favorite video game? Not much of a gamer these days, Richie. It's a dangler. Again, guys, you guys are nuts in the chat. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button, all right? It's free of charge. I promise. I won't send you an invoice. But again, guys, we're going to start the review in a little under 10 minutes. Friday Night SmackDown. And we got a lot to discuss. What's up, Cal? How we doing? Let's see. Okay, I'm all caught up here. Appreciate that, Ant. Appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, look, guys, I do cover more than just WWE. We will be speaking Friday Night SmackDown tonight. But, of course, make your way in here. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. All right, we will be doing a giveaway on the road to WrestleMania here. We're just 36 days away or so. Still trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do, but probably something along the lines of action figures, something or other that I will give out. I'm going to conjure up something on all my platforms for Instagram, TikTok, and probably here on YouTube. So, Rachel, what is up? How we doing, Rachel? Put on Smooth Criminal. I'm only playing some wrestling music in the back, but I do appreciate some good classic MJ there. Street Profits are new tag champs. Yeah, I did see SmackDown. We're going to talk about that main event. Good for them, man. They haven't won the tag titles in what, 4+ years? Rachel, we're just getting started here. We didn't start the review yet. We're going to start up in about 5 minutes. So what everybody can do that is in here now, hit that thumbs up, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. And thank you guys again. If you watch SmackDown and you're a current day wrestling fan, which we will discuss today, let me know what you love, what you liked about SmackDown. But look, if you're just having to chime in, make your way in here because you liked wrestling once upon a time, 5, 10, 20 years ago, let me know why you liked wrestling once upon a time. I would love to read that before we get into this review and get fully immersed here. Again, hit the subscribe button, guys, and thank you for jumping on in here. Yeah, good to see KO there, Cal. Absolutely. Last night was fantastic, Rachel. Yeah, I want to thank you, Rachel, and as well as everybody that was on my TikTok live last night. We went 3+ hours, hitting 100,000 likes for the first time ever. I mean, I thought 75 was going to be the new, impressive stat, but the fact that you guys stuck around for me, as you always do, so thank you thoroughly. And hopefully, Rachel, we could get those numbers in similar fashion before the year ends. We still got a ways to go on YouTube. YouTube is the new platform I really want to grow. If I could get that somewhere where I have TikTok, I think we'll be in good hands here for Turnbuckle Topics. So thank you, guys. Yeah, I loved what Jimmy said in regards to Gunther. He's got to stick up for his baby brother, right? They're twins, but he was born first. I like that mindset, Rachel. You're always thinking about moving on up. I like it. 150. I think we will do 150. I think we could hit 150 before July. Get it done in the first half of the year. Anthony, no problem, man. Be sure you hit that subscribe button. Hope to see you back, my friend. Hope to see you back. We're going to start the review, guys, in about 3 minutes. Wait, a lot of people are filing in and out, but hopefully we get some more wrestling fans in here, and we will discuss this Friday Night SmackDown, which there was enough notable stuff to discuss. You know, there was a lot to talk about. Again, 35 days away or so till WrestleMania 41. And look, it's going to be fun. The rest of the month, we are not in the States, so it's going to be fun. You got to love the crowds. Now, I know when they booked these dates a few months back, a lot of people were upset here in the U.S. that Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown would not be in the USA, and they're traveling. Example tonight, they're in Barcelona, Spain, and go for Barcelona. That was the first time they've ever had a SmackDown. And you know what? Look how grateful they were. Right, the crowd was on fire for the majority of the show, or probably all the show, really. Rather than just being in a random city here that gets a Raw or a SmackDown twice a year. So it's nice. It's a nice change of pace. And realistically, they're going to be back by the beginning of April. And so you have at least 2.5 weeks that Raw and SmackDown will be here back in the States. So it's not like they're missing out on the complete road to WrestleMania, All right, Ant, you take care. LA Knight, yeah, LA Knight opened up the show. We'll talk about him in a minute. If we get the 150K, then we all should make a TikTok there. Yeah, I hear you, Rach. We'll have to come up with something because I love the energy. You, Santos, especially Miss J, Derek, and many others, even people that haven't been day ones like yourself, really helped contribute last night, and I'm forever grateful for. It takes an army, it takes a village. So everybody did a great job last night, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed the live. I think we had a lot to talk about last night with WrestleMania 41 and so many other things. So, all right, guys, we're gonna get started in just a minute here. Friday Night SmackDown review here on YouTube. Turnbuckle Topics. Hit the subscribe button. Most importantly, if you're in here already, hit the thumbs up, and we're gonna get started again in just a minute. And we're going to start right from the very top all the way to the main event for those tag team titles. And again, solid show. Overall, I liked what we saw. What I really enjoyed, I'm going to just jump the gun here real quick. I was talking about this thoroughly last night on TikTok, as some of you were with me. And, a couple of feuds that we said were losing some steam or momentum going into Mania. One was Tiffany and Charlotte. And the fact that they had this all-out brawl throughout quite a few segments throughout this show was very good. It was very impressive. Not only were they hungry to get at one another, I do applaud Tiffany going off the top of the entrance, even though she totally missed Charlotte and took out about 4 or 5 security guards. A for effort. It looked cool until she missed her, right? Usually, and no shade, but usually that's Charlotte. That is the one who typically misses on those moonsaults to the outside. But that's nor here nor there. I did like the hunger. I love the aggressive nature between the two, constantly trying to get at one another tonight on the show. So that was good. Um, yeah, we might rage. We might have to pop over there for a little bit, absolutely. Um, yeah, I'm happy for the Profits too. So, guys, without further ado, let's get started with this Friday Night SmackDown review. Again, guys, hit that thumbs up, hit the like button. At least hit double digits tonight. We already got 6 subs, perfect. Let's continue try to get at least double digits on the subs tonight too. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and I'll read the comments throughout when I take breaks between matches and segments here. Carmelo Hayes, yeah, I hear you, Cal. Randy Orton's first singles match officially was it tonight in quite some time, so you kind of knew that. But here we go. LA Knight started off the show. Now, this is the two-time United States champion, making his first appearance since winning the title last week, I believe it was. Basically went on to say, out there, this was at Olympic Arena, by the way, in Barcelona, Spain. And he went out there and basically pretty much discussed, I may be the United States champion, but by God, he's worldwide. He says it's been too long since he held the title, since Survivor Series War Games in, where was it, Vancouver this year. And it was doing the whole with everybody saying an LA Knight thing. But then he was interrupted pretty early in this promo by Big Jim, right? Jimmy Uso came out, says he's not out here to congratulate him, but to say that he's desperate because his road to WrestleMania is running short. He's tired of speed bumps, detours. And so, Big Jim wants a shot at LA Knight's title. Now, a lot of us have been saying the past month and a half, not just because of Jay, his brother, having so much success as an IC champion for a little bit, winning the Rumble, going up against Gunther for the world title at Mania, even winning the tag team titles with Cody Rhodes at Fastlane or so, a year and a half ago, winning a tag title without his brother. So Jay's got a lot accomplished since he split up with Jimmy less than 2 years ago. So everybody's waiting for Big Jim to get some kind of momentum. And I get it. A lot of us were hoping he would win the title at Mania, especially if Shinsuke still held it, the U.S. title, that is. So Jimmy Uso's, his whole promo got interrupted pretty abruptly by Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Sikoa says if anybody deserves a title shot, it's Jacob Fatu. Now, when Solo first came out, it almost felt as if he was going to talk about himself, but he brought up Jacob, which was the right thing to do. Says a couple weeks ago, LA Knight stole a pin and kept the title from coming back to the family. He tells Jimmy Uso it's good to see him, but he should step aside since he's the failure of the family. Uso tells him the biggest failure he's done is trusting him as a brother, and bigger than is Solo losing to Roman on January 6th at Ulafala and all that stuff. So simply stated, Braun Strowman came out a little bit later to even the odds, and this would then have SmackDown GM Nick Aldis make his way out and impromptu 6-man tag match. Braun Strowman, Jimmy Uso, as again, it's funny, everybody's legit referring to him as Big Jim Uso, so it's kind of funny. And LA Knight going up against, Jacob, Solo, and Tama. Match was all right. It was a nice way to start with an exciting match that could easily have been the main event for tonight. But they started off with that. It was an enjoyable match for the most part. And Braun Strowman and company won with a running power slam from Strowman to Tama Tonga. Now, I don't know if Tammy's in here, Rachel, but Tammy Tonga cannot be happy about this booking. We talk about Finn Balor. It is kind of ironic now that I think about it, guys. Finn Balor, how many times has he been eating pins for the last couple years outside of some tag team title reigns, especially in singles, though, right? Finn losing. Then you think about Tama Tonga losing all those singles matches, tag matches, 6-man matches on SmackDown. And what do Finn and Tama Tonga, as I discussed this, have in common? They are 2 of the 4 original members of the Bullet Club in Japan, right? I don't know. Coincidence? Who knows? But that was how that went. And in a minute, we're going to discuss what happened immediately following that with Jade Cargill. I believe that came up shortly thereafter. Let's get to a couple comments. Cal got a lot to say tonight. Cal got a lot to say. Proud of the Profits. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Street Profits babyface. It's a very confusing situation, Cal. Obviously, in this match, the Profits by default could have been looked at as the babyfaces because DIY has definitely been heels for a couple months since turning on the Machine Guns when they got their second tag title reign. But the Profits, I wish they would change their music, even if they were not. Even if they don't turn heel fully, and if they're kind of like in a tweener stage, the Profits' music isn't matching up to their demeanor current day. I think a lot of us would agree with that. So it's weird, backstage they were completely heel, but then they came out a little bit, and you see Angelo Dawkins shake hands with a couple fans, and they're still doing their fun shtick to a point. I don't know, man. I don't think they know if they're faces or heels. They're somewhere in between. I'll just call them tweeners. I'll call them tweeners for sure. But yeah, too many times, Rachel, talking about Finn Balor and Tama Tonga seemingly taking a pin every single time. I know Tammy Tonga can't be happy. So again, guys, if you're in here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're reviewing tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown, which took place in Barcelona, Spain. All right, so we're going to talk about that from top to bottom. We're about 15 minutes in to the show into itself, and a lot to discuss. Again, come in here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. That's all I'll ask. Would love to hear what you thought of the show in the comments section as well. I will get to them sooner than later. So next up, we're going to talk a little bit about Jade Cargill. All right, we're going to talk about Jade Cargill, and she's been a hot button issue here, obviously for a variety of reasons. What's going to happen? Will she be able to make it on her own without a Bianca, without a Naomi, without the big three? This time last year, the big three was heading into Mania and defeated Damage Control, right? Shortly thereafter, it would spin into Bianca and Jade having a couple of pretty solid tag title runs. But we got to talk about Jade Cargill right here, okay? She's sitting with Kathy Kelly prior to the show in the arena in the stands, right? And Jade Cargill goes on to say she's physically okay, she's ready to go. Seeing Naomi cry like she's the victim is pathetic. Jade proceeds to say she didn't need a handout and Naomi tried to dictate what she got. Asked why she didn't say something all this time over the last 3 months or so, she explains that all she remembered was being hit from behind and thrown into the car, on top of the car, where she was found on the hood, and seeing Naomi running away. Now, I'm going to get to the rest of what she said here, but we're going to discuss this for a minute. Because, again, just because she saw Naomi doesn't mean it was Naomi. Now, you may say, well, Pat, last week she admitted to it in front of Bianca. But was Naomi and Bianca putting on a show? Was Naomi just taking one for the team for Bianca to help, which a lot of people think, reel Bianca away from Jade in some capacity so that Bianca can focus on her singles run? And another very interesting tidbit here is, even Naomi getting eliminated without getting pinned or submitted in the Elimination Chamber match last week by Jade Cargill coming in there and beating the living hell out of her 2 weeks ago. And who was next up? It was pretty ironic that Bianca was the next one out. Just so happened, right? Going up against Liv Morgan that night. And it already helped Bianca's odds because there was already one less person that somebody in there, namely Bianca, had to pin or submit. I think this is a whole elaborate ruse by Bianca and Naomi. Now that we saw what's taking place the last couple of weeks, I don't know, guys. You let me know in the chat, but I kind of think so. Barcelona, Spain was good tonight. Yeah, good crowd there, Cal. I'm looking forward to these international crowds, man. I got to say. Favorite part was Cody. Cody was good. He was a man of few words tonight, but it was fun, Rach. And he will be on Monday Night Raw, just like our OTC will be on SmackDown next week. But we will see Cody Rhodes on Raw this Monday. And we'll see John Cena starting off his first of 3 consecutive Monday Night Raws coming up this Monday on St. Patrick's Day. I think it could have been Naomi and Bayley. Yeah, I mean, I'm not totally eliminating that possibility too, Cal. My thing is like, are we going to turn Bayley back to heel that quickly after only a year? And the reason I don't even take into consideration Bayley is Bayley was already moved to Monday Night Raw. Now, look, not to say they could figure something out in the interim or if they move Jade to Raw to get at Bayley, but I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't think Bayley was involved, even though Naomi and Bayley were the first ones at the ambulance. Remember, Bianca showed up at the ambulance during her match for that U.S. title tournament, and there's Bianca and Bayley basically never got along for their long-standing feud. And so I don't know, man. I don't think Bayley had anything to do with it, but I do think Bianca and Naomi were in cahoots. I do think that was the case. But either or, let me finish up the segment with Jade Cargill and Kathy Kelly. She goes on to say, Jade says about Naomi, she was like a big sister. She didn't just attack her physically, but attacked her loyalty and her heart and how she's supposed to trust anybody now going forward. And then she saw Bianca Belair teaming with her for the past couple of months as the tag team champion. Like nothing ever happened. Liv and Raquel would then roll up at this moment in time, which I thought was great. I thought this was very well done. Liv Morgan is such an obnoxious heel in the best way possible. Liv shows up and complains about getting blamed for the attack, especially with that footage that came out last month. And Jade promises if she hadn't been attacked, they never would have won their titles and calls her a joke, said she'll wrestle her next week. So next week on SmackDown, we're going to get Jade Cargill and Liv Morgan. And I know there's a lot of Liv Morgan fans out there. I have an immense amount of respect for Liv as well over the past several years. She's improved so much, right? Since her Riot Squad days or even her days on NXT. But I think we all could agree with Jade Cargill coming back with her first official match in singles. Whether we like it or not, they're going to find a way to put Jade over Liv. Do I think it's going to be a squash? Absolutely not. They should not do that. Semi-squash? I don't know. I mean, it's a possibility. But I think the only reason I could see it being a semi-squash is how this is where we're really going to begin to see how Jade Cargill has improved in the past few months, especially in singles. Now, Liv does not deserve to get squashed, obviously. Now, the only reason I would say maybe it's a semi-squash is how long can Jade really go in a singles contest here? So we'll see. But I think out of respect to Liv and Jade, and if she's able to go at least 4 or 5 minutes, this match should have a little bit of time in it, right? We know it's not going to be a 10-plus minute match, obviously. So Jade will get the win. And Liv ended it very funny here. Liv tells Jade not to get pushed into any cars over the next week. So that was cool. We then would get a BFAB promo ahead of her match against Charlotte Flair. Look, we'll get to that match in a little bit. We got to look at it like this, guys. I know a lot of people I saw on TikTok and all that tonight. I was jumping in and out of wrestling streams tonight. A lot of people were calling this the bathroom match. I mean, look, guys, we know Charlotte Flair is going to win, and Charlotte Flair dominated a majority. They gave BFAB a little offense. But good for BFAB getting this kind of opportunity against Charlotte internationally. So you got to look at it like that, right? But I get it. A lot of people were not, immersed into this match. Getting to a few comments here. Naomi has a bigger problem on her hands. Jade Cargill. Yeah, perhaps, Cal. Her laugh tries to be crazy. Yeah, Liv Morgan's laugh is something. Good thing we don't have to hear nothing about the New Day. Yeah, they're on Raw, brother. You watched TNA pay-per-view. I was reading up on it the whole episode. I went 8-2 in my predictions there, Sean. But it seemed like it was a good show. I didn't watch any footage or highlights, but I was reading up about it as I was watching SmackDown. So I do know all the results. But it looked all right. So yeah, Cal, that I know, man. That I know. So we're gonna hop over to BFAB versus Charlotte Flair, guys. Continue hitting that thumbs up, guys. If you're making your way in here for the first time or just getting here tonight, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get a few more subscribers. Thank you for all those that already did hit the subscribe button in the past, 20 minutes. Thank you. But let's proceed, right? Let's proceed. So BFAB Charlotte. I mean, what's there to say? We knew Charlotte was going to get the win. BFAB had some offense. It was limited. It was minimal, but it's better than nothing. BFAB, this was somebody not even barely 5 years ago, when COVID was up and running, that was in the Performance Center weekly for the NXT shows. And, one of those people banging on the protective glass, like a lot of the NXT talent at the time. And now she's wrestling Charlotte Flair internationally. So, if there's any silver lining here, I get it. This wasn't exactly the highlight of anybody's night, per se. Even if you were the biggest Charlotte Flair fan, you probably weren't, impressed by this match. But good for BFAB, man. She's making strides. She will get there. Got to put it all into perspective. But again, Charlotte wins with the submission, her figure eight. She wouldn't let go, actually. And I'm going to get to the post-match bit in a moment here. But again, good for BFAB. I mean, she looks all right out there. She's got a great presentation. The good thing about BFAB is she has the confidence. So the skill set and all that will come over time. And, if I could just interject really quickly. And, yeah, do I enjoy, a Jade Cargill over BFAB more so? Yeah, I do. But at least BFAB is being brought up appropriately. BFAB's not there yet. But she's kind of where she should be in the sense of, okay, that she's dabbling in the mid-card, dabbling against some top stars like Charlotte, obviously not getting the win, but they're just testing around, testing the water, seeing how it's going. Now, Jade, a lot of people want to see Jade get a rocket pack and go to the moon and be world champion before the year's over, and I don't get that. I don't understand that. Jade's got an amazing look, physique, aura, theme music. Two-time tag team champion. You can't take any of that away from her. But let's see how she fares. And it all starts next Friday against Liv Morgan. That will be very telling as far as where we're headed into 2025 with a Jade Cargill singles run. Whatever that means. Is that a future U.S. champion? Is it WWE Women's Champion before the year's over? I don't know. I am hoping for the best for her, but I think a lot of people are getting ahead of themselves when they discuss all these dream matches with Jade and Rhea against Charlotte, against Bianca, Becky, and the list just goes on. Actually, say this one nice thing about Cody. Nas, what's up, man? Say it with me about the time. Yeah, Nas, we're going to get to that, but since you're in here, brother, welcome in. Guys, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, subscribe. But Nas, yeah, I mean, hey, bro, 4 years, 2 months, congrats to the Street Profits, man, getting those tag titles. First time getting this set of tag titles, right? It's not the Raw, it's not the SmackDown ones, the red and blue. They got the official, beautiful, the better looking tag titles than even Raw has for those world tag titles. So good for them, man. Rachel says Joe Hendry team won after the match. Ryan locked man in the cage, and Nick turned heel. Wow, Nemeth turned heel. Interesting, Rach. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. Interesting. All right. Wow, I'm going to have to check that out afterwards. Thank you for letting me know. I made sure I saw all the results before I got on here for TNA Sacrifice. But yeah, Ryan and Nick Nemeth finally turned heel. Okay, I'm here for it. Adrian, what's up, man? What's up? Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, Ryan Nemeth could use the rub. You ain't lying. You ain't lying, Adrian. Guys, hit that like button. Welcome in. I got a few new people that have returned. A few originals, but new to tonight's stream. Hit that like button, guys. And for those that haven't, hit the subscribe. And we're going to proceed, though. Again, good for BFAB getting this opportunity. Charlotte Flair won. Let's hop to the post-match, right? Charlotte refused to break the hold until Tiffany Stratton came down. These two got into a great brawl. And we were talking the last couple nights. I think even me and Nas were talking on TikTok Live last night. You know, a lot of people saying, Jay and Gunther's losing steam. Tiffany and Charlotte hasn't really gained much steam outside of them having a match. I got to say, this was the first time I've actually been very intrigued and interested about Tiffany and Charlotte. These two were going at one another like two savage pit bulls tonight. I loved it. In ring, out the ring. A few segments later, Tiffany, again, she jumped off the entranceway, even though she completely missed Charlotte and landed on a bunch of security. But it was just utter mayhem, and I like that chaos. Especially if you're a wrestling fan, you like to see this stuff happen, right? So this was cool. They were charging for one another initially. You know, Flair even jumped off the announce table at one point, getting some punches in. And we'd get back to them in a little bit, though. We would get back to them in a minute. At this moment, we got a Drew McIntyre promo about Damian Priest and how he's benefited every time he got screwed over the last year and how he's going to make sure he never takes anything from him again. And so then at this moment in time, I think we got the Miz TV part. And then we got to the Charlotte and Tiffany spilling out again in the entryway. So let's see what Caden says. Cena and Trump Scott and Goldberg and Drew gives to the right. Yeah, hey, that's an interesting one there, Caden. So let's discuss this a little bit here. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton spill out of the entryway. They are brawling again. That was when Stratton dove off the balcony. Again, completely missed Charlotte, all right? But it was fun, nonetheless. Miz then comes in, Miz TV. He says anything can happen before greeting the crowd in their own language and introduces the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He says he doesn't have time for the whole sing-along with Cody and all that stuff. Cody doesn't have time for it. Kicks the Miz, hits him with a crossroads. Rhodes then gets on the mic and says he doesn't want to talk to anybody who isn't John Cena and says, I will see you basically on St. Patrick's Day this Monday on Monday Night Raw. So that is the return of John Cena. Right, Cena's going to be on the next 3 Monday Night Raws on the 17th, 24th, 31st. So the remainder of this trip internationally, Cena will be on Raw. Now, could he just, again, we spoke about this a week or two ago, could Cena just come out there and drop the mic and not say a word and continue to infuriate the audience as he did post-show, right, at the press conference for Elimination Chamber? That absolutely could be the case. So I'm curious. I know you guys are as well. So next up, we would get Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This was a match that was made a little bit prior to. Nakamura wanted a rematch, though. He was talking about going at LA Knight. He wants his title back. And all this says he's lucky he's not suspended. Priest then showed up to demand to know where McIntyre is. Nick says he left the building. Shinsuke, said he's talking a little smack in Japanese. Damian Priest then responded in Spanish. And then that's how this match came about. For those that are wondering, give a little bit of brief backstory before I jump into this one. For what it's worth. Match was cool, typical Nakamura, see is what you get at this stage of the game. Priest won this by DQ, I'm assuming, because pretty much the way this went, Priest was countering the Kinshasa knee strike from Shinsuke Nakamura with a South of Heaven chokeslam. Drew McIntyre, who was hanging out there a little bit prior to, jumped him. Post-match, Drew gouges Priest's eyes, and Shinsuke then would land his Kinshasa post-match. And that was pretty much how that went. McIntyre then would beat Priest down more, little by little. These two inevitably are obviously having a match at WrestleMania 41. We were talking about this last night, again, on the TikTok Live. There's a couple matches we're getting that are non-title, right? We know we're getting AJ and Logan, probably. Drew and Damian, Roman, Seth, and Punk. So that's how that went. A couple matches left. We were jumping into just about approaching what, hour 3 at this moment in time. Rhea is going to be back after a title match. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, so we are going to talk a little bit about DIY. Right, DIY. They had a backstage interview, and they were talking about they're the best in the tag division. Blah 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 blah. Gargano says Profits say they want the smoke, but in title matches, it's more likely that they will choke. So let's hope they don't quit their wrestling gig, because stand-up is not for them. Motor City then would show up, and they say the joke's on them because the entire tag division is after them, and when they're done with the Profits, they have unfinished business, obviously. That's how they won the titles back, by turning on them. What was it? They low-blowed, was it Chris Sabin? And that's how that went. Anyway. Before we get to this Carmelo Hayes Randy Orton match, let's discuss for a moment this backstage segment, because we got to see my girl Zelina Vega. You know, if you know me, I love Zelina Vega. So we got to see Piper Niven, Alba Fire, part of the secret. So was it the service or whatever they call themselves, or the Green Administration? Every week I feel like they have a new name. Anyway, we see Chelsea Green, the United States champion, make her way between Alba and Piper. Zelina Vega then rolled up to talk about her intent to win the United States Championship from her. Piper says she'll have to go through her to win the title. Vega accepted it and says she's going to beat her and then beat Green and win that United States Championship. Now look, you know, if you look to the left and right, of Chelsea Green, you have every reason to believe you should not trust who's with you, right? DTA. Austin taught us this 25 plus years ago. Don't trust anybody, right? You know, there's no reason why Chelsea should fully trust Piper Niven. And there's certainly no reason that Chelsea should fully trust Alba Fire, who came to her side, or came to her aid for the very first time last week. All because, of course, her tag partner, Isla Dawn, was fired last month on Monday Night Raw, and she needs something to do. So she helped her beat Mishin last week. Now, I'm led to believe that, look, as much as I would love, and you know, again, I'll reiterate it for those that don't know, I love Zelina Vega. Do I ever think she's going to win a world title in WWE? I don't know. Never say never. Fingers crossed. But I think, obviously, the probability of Zelina at least holding one singles title would probably be an IC or US title, right? Would love to see her dethrone Chelsea Green. But that being said, I could more so see it being an inside job. And that means either Piper Niven or more so probably maybe even Alba Fire, who is just here for the short term. I see one of these two, Piper or Alba. I see one of those two being the ones who eventually dethrone Chelsea Green of the U.S. title. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Who's the next Women's United States champion? The second ever U.S. champion. As a matter of fact, today marks 3 months to the day that Chelsea Green won that at Saturday night's main event, December 14th in Long Island, right? Against Mishin. Match 1 of 500 that they had. But that being said, who would you like to see be the next United States champion for the women? Let me know in the comments. Showing a little love to the OTC there, Cal. Rachel Reigns loves that. Rhea versus Io versus Bianca, triple threat. That must be in 40. Yeah, Caden, look, man, I'm all for Rhea, Io, Bianca. 3 of the very best in all of pro wrestling for women. But I'm content with Bianca Io. I really am. Backlash 2023, what a ride that was. Great match between the two. But look, and I was very much looking forward to Rhea and Bianca, which I thought we were initially going to get. But look, if we had the triple threat, great. But I'm content with a singles match as well. Okay, this is after WrestleMania 41. Yeah, Backlash was announced earlier today in St. Louis, May 10th, right? One of my best friend's birthdays, May 10th. Alba Fire. Okay, you think Alba Fire is the next U.S. champion for the women? It's a good choice, Cal. If it's not going to be my girl Zelina, I certainly see Alba even more so than Piper being the one. If it's somebody that she's aligned with. Alba Fire has the next U.S. champion, sure. Think Piper will turn. Okay, and Rachel's saying the opposite. Thinks Piper. Yeah, you know, Piper has been my guest for a month or two, Rachel, but now that Alba Fire has been added to that whole Chelsea Green business, the Green Administration, as she calls it, I don't know, man. I'm thinking it's more going to be Alba the last week, but again, who knows? Who knows? But I do think it's more likely that it will be somebody that's aligned with her. So let's get to Carmelo Hayes and Randy Orton, right? This was fun. We'd love to see Zelina get the win for sure over her. So we got Carmelo and Randy. Starts off, Hayes declined a handshake from Randy Orton. Shoving match breaks out. Orton, a veteran of the game, is not going to handle and tolerate that disrespect. By the way, guys, if you're just in here, hit that like button. All right, hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. All right, hit the subscribe button as well. And feel free to comment if you saw SmackDown, if you didn't, if you haven't watched wrestling in 20 years. If you liked wrestling at some point in time, let me know what you loved or you used to like. I'll read your comment in a little bit. Anyway, getting back to the match. Whole lot going on throughout the course of this match. It was a lot of fun. I mean, Randy, a legend in his own right, obviously. He's great. He's on a lot of people's Mount Rushmore, rightfully so. And Carmelo Hayes, he hasn't even been on the main roster for a full year. A lot of people are thinking Carmelo's buried. Carmelo's buried. No, he's not. Carmelo is not buried. He's far from buried, as I said last night. Carmelo Hayes is the furthest thing from buried. Before 2025 is over, he will hold some kind of singles gold, right? Whether he stays on SmackDown, whether he floats over to Raw. So let's not say Carmelo's buried. The people he's losing to more times than not, vast majority are legends in the game. You know what I mean? Or greats. So anyway, match was good. Randy Orton won this one with an RKO. Got the pinfall victory. Post-match, Orton offered another handshake. He said, let's try this again, like he did in the beginning. After I beat you, Hayes would then, mush him in the face. Randy drops him again. Line Mello up for the punt kick, but then Cal's buddy, KO, showed up, pulls Hayes out of the ring. Orton chases him, but KO puts him in the ring post and gets, and gets out of the picture. Makes the runaway. So that's how that went. KO Randy's going to be phenomenal. We discussed this ever since Randy returned at Chamber. KO and Randy's going to be a lot of fun at Mania. Another great match that I added last night as well. That doesn't need title implications. That could be great at Mania, right? We're not going to get Jacob Solo. We're only a month away. Even if there was a turn prior to, it's just not going to line up, right? But you will get Randy, KO. You will probably get AJ and Logan. You will get Sammy. I'm sorry, not Sammy. You're going to get Seth, CM Punk, and Roman. And there was one other match that I just made mention of prior to. But there's going to be a lot of good non-title matches on this card. That's going to be a lot of fun. So we get Gunther. Gunther makes his way to the ring, gets on the mic, road to WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. He says he wishes they weren't necessarily in Barcelona, Spain. He wishes they were in Madrid. But this was very interesting. But now, if you watched NXT UK over the years, right, there's this very good wrestler named A-Kid. He's also known as Axiom now the last couple years. When he moved to NXT a couple years ago in 2021, early 2022, he came on as A-Kid initially. They repackaged him as Axiom, and it's worked out great, at least in a tag team capacity. Let's briefly just take a minute to talk about the week that Axiom has had. There's a lot of wrestlers who had amazing weeks for a variety of reasons. We could talk about Moose, who had a great week going up against Obafemi at the Garden. And most of these guys were at the Garden Tuesday for NXT. But Moose went up against Obafemi in a losing effort, but he got to bring that TNA X Division title into Madison Square Garden Theater. We could talk about Jeff Hardy, who also did the same in a winning effort against Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Now, Jeff Hardy lost tonight to Moose, ironically, for the X Division title, but that's nor here nor there. And then we could talk about Axiom here, who got to be the surprise opponent for Gunther tonight. Now, he was also a part of that MSG Theater show at NXT Roadblock this past Tuesday, going up against the Hardys, man. You lost to the Hardys. Nothing to hang your head about. So the cool thing, his play on words here with Gunther is he says, but he's heard there's a kid. But A-Kid, again, his former name. And they call him the best wrestler out of Spain, one of the most promising talents in WWE right now. He's going to prove that this doesn't mean a damn thing. Then he announces Axiom. The Barcelona crowd goes wild. They got a hometown guy here going up against the World Heavyweight Champion. Regardless of his odds, how phenomenal is that? How cool is that? Axiom versus Gunther. Axiom did the best he could, right? He gave it his all. But Gunther, you knew he was going to get the job done here when all was said and done. I'm not going to say he destroyed him, but he put a hurting on him for sure. Gunther won by pinfall with a powerbomb. Post-match, Gunther puts him in a clutch and forces the referees and company to pull him off. We all would have loved to see main event Jey Uso, though he was not there tonight to help break this up. Again, this wasn't Monday Night Raw. It was Friday Night SmackDown. So a lot of us were wondering why Gunther was even here, but that's how he had it. Came back from a commercial break. We saw a recap of Monday Night Raw, Rollins, Punk, Seth, that whole involvement, just buying some time. I'm gonna blow through this Paul Heyman promo, and then it was good. And then we're gonna get to Jey and Gunther backstage. Then we will get to this main event for the tag team titles. Gunther Axiom was great, Cal. Yeah, it was fantastic tonight. It was great. Guys, continue to hit that thumbs up button. Again, if you're new here, welcome. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. We got about 15 minutes left of this review. We'll be rounding out just a little after midnight here on the East Coast. And thank you for all those that have joined me tonight. Thank you for the 6 or 7 new subscribers on YouTube tonight as well. Appreciate that, guys. So let's get to this segment here with Paul Heyman. He was in the ring doing his whole introduction shtick, talking about 2K25, calling it Roman Reigns Day because he's on the cover. Remember last year, I believe it was Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley all had their own cover as well. All that aside, it talks about his friend, the best in the world, CM Punk, but it's all about Roman Reigns, not CM Punk. We already know where that's going. That's a story for a different day, Punk and Reigns. It talks about he hates Rollins' song, and if anybody has a problem with the fact that it's Roman Reigns Day or that Roman is on the cover of the video game, then they can say it straight to the face of the tribal chief. Next Friday, I believe next Friday, he'll be in Italy for SmackDown. See what happens there. So that was pretty much how that went. Not much more to take or make out of that whole promo. Again, can't fully trust Heyman. There's something obviously going on with him and Punk that is more than just a favor owed, right, from Survivor Series, teaming up with Team Roman. And so we'll see what happens at Mania. But Roman and Punk will easily spiral off into a feud post-Mania. Could be as early as Backlash, and match 3 could even culminate at SummerSlam here in Jersey. So I'm here for it. Backstage, Street Profits are getting ready for their main event matchup against DIY for these WWE tag team titles, right? They were then approached by Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, the leader of this faction, Humberto Carrillo, and Angel Garza. They wish them luck because when they win, Los Garza will take the titles off of them. Look, I love Los Garza. I love Angel. I love Humberto. But you're not fooling anybody. Nobody's afraid of you. You guys haven't done well in singles, in tag team, on Raw, on SmackDown, on NXT. Maybe they'll need to go to Evolve. They haven't won anything anywhere. And I love them, but booking-wise, they've been booked horribly. So I have no reason to believe that I should be sweating at all when I see these guys approach me. Maybe Santos to an extent. He's got a little bit to show. At least he was, a cruiserweight champion on NXT. I don't know. Did he win anything more than that? I don't think he won the NXT North American or certainly the NXT title. So I don't know. Again, love the group, love Legado, but based upon the fact that they're booked terribly and they lost. I feel like whenever a faction loses their leading lady, it takes a lot away from them, and it really does. A lot of intrigue. And the fact that they cut Elektra Lopez last month and fired her, the little bit more of investment I had in that group for whatever reason it was, the fact that it's just those 3 guys that haven't done much the past year, and they got no lady anymore, it's looking bad. It's not looking too good. So, again, Profits just ignored them. And we're going to go backstage real quick, talking about Gunther here. He had a chat with Jimmy Uso, talking about Jim's mature and all this other stuff, and we can have a good conversation. And Jimmy wasn't having it. He said Jey Uso is going to become world champion, doing the whole yeet bit. So, obviously, Jim backed his brother. That's that. Let's get to the main event. Shall we? Best part of the night. Greatest announcer ever, Roman Reigns. Yes, Rage. Here we have WrestleMania 41. Heyman turns on Roman. Joins CM Punk. You think it's going to happen at Mania? Okay. Feud with my man, babyface Punk. You're with Roman a babyface and Punk a heel. I'm here for it. Because here's the thing, and it's weird, and I understand why Punk loved my guy Stone Cold Steve Austin as much as he did over the years. Because whether we like Punk or not, I know Rachel, you love Roman and you don't like Punk, which hey, it's fine. But Punk is definitely the anti-hero. So who has cut several great promos, but especially 2 weeks ago following Elimination Chamber when he went in on The Rock, John Cena, and then Seth Rollins. It was so good. But anyway, I do think, whether we like it or not, Punk will be full-blown heel, back with Heyman, and I'm intrigued to see it. The first time in what? My God, how long has it been? At least 12 plus years since we've seen the full-time duo of Punk and Heyman together. That's intriguing, especially initially starting off against Roman Reigns. That's fun, regardless who comes out on top of that feud. So I'm here for it. But let's talk about the main event, guys. Again, for those that are just joining me, hit that like button, guys. Hit the thumbs up. And be sure to certainly hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Thank you very much. And we are going to discuss the Street Profits, man. They're trying to get their first tag title win over 4 plus years, right? Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. They come off his heels, though they're not full. We're talking about, how Punk is booked. Is he a tweener? Yeah. And the Profits, even though they've been acting very heelish lately, attacking people and stuff since the Rumble, the Profits, until further notice, in my opinion, are still tweeners. They're not they're certainly not full babyface, and they're not full heel, right? They come out in the darker attire these days. I get that, but the theme song is still the same. They're still shaking hands with a few people here and there, not as much. They're still very lively, and it's weird because another thing, when Legado del Fantasma backstage was getting in the faces of the Prophets, then they went away, and then Montez basically cut a promo on them as they walked away. Montez is just naturally funny. Montez is naturally funny, naturally comedic. So the way he was speaking, it's almost like he was doing too much. And Montez, I don't think, meant that, but he's just so naturally funny that when you continue to talk like that, people are going to look at you more as a babyface than a serious outright heel who's looking for blood, right? So less is more. Less is more, Montez. I want to see the killer instinct that I see in the ring. I want you to continue to follow that up everywhere else, right? Because he's believable, but just needs to talk a little less. Because the more he talks, he can be very funny with it. That's what I noticed. But so that's why I will not put them as full-blown heels. But anyway, they backed it up in the ring. This was a great back-and-forth match. Numerous times you didn't know who was going to win. Angelo Dawkins, it looked like it was over for him at one point. He kicked out with basically no time left later in the match, as Wade Barrett went on to refer to. And at one moment in time, with DIYs meet in the middle, right, where usually Gargano and Ciampa take them out for the final blow. Dawkins got out of the way, and Johnny Gargano super kicked Tommaso Ciampa. Now, is this going to lead to tension between the two, especially the fact they dropped the titles tonight? Is this going to spin off into a feud between the two? Perhaps it might. I don't know. But there may be something there. We'll see. We've seen it happen with, for those that watch NXT, I was just talking about Nathan Frazier and Axiom. A lot of us thought they were going to split months ago. They had a lot of back and forth where they screwed up. They're hitting finishers and certain moves on one another on accident. But Fraxium's still around, so I don't see why DIY wouldn't be able to push through just because of one accident. Unfortunately, this accident pretty much cost them the tag titles, though. So after that happened, the meet in the middle was unsuccessful. Johnny Gargano super kicked Tommaso Ciampa. And then you saw a frog splash, I believe, shortly thereafter. What was it? Dawkins fall away. Ciampa gets kicked out. Spinebuster put Gargano down. Right. So that was what it was. Angelo Dawkins would then hit Gargano with a spine buster. Montez then took his time, got to the top rope, hit the frog splash successfully, beautifully done. Gets in the air better than basically anybody these days. And then you got the 1, 2, 3. And Street Profits, for the first time, guys, in 4 years and 2 months, get tag team gold, right? They're former Raw tag team champions, former SmackDown tag team champions, former NXT tag team champions. As a matter of fact, I remember the Profits winning. Might have been around 2019, June 2019, roughly. I think NXT TakeOver 25 may have been around Connecticut. I know it wasn't too far from where I am. And they won the tag team titles for the first time there, the NXT tag titles. And that was very fun. And they've accomplished a lot through the years. But, as they've been saying the last several months, that they haven't won gold in over 4 years. I couldn't believe it. I knew it's been a minute. I knew it was at least 2 years. But the fact that they were going on almost 4.5 years is an absurdity to me, especially because a lot of people want to see Montez on a very strong singles run. But I'm here for one more Profits tag run. Could this be their last tag run for a while? Perhaps. Regardless, good for them. These titles are beautiful. Again, these WWE tag titles on SmackDown, way better than the World Tag Team titles on Raw. They have the vintage look that I loved during the golden era, the 80s and 90s and such. And even, in the 2000s, they did a rendition of this title too. So congrats to the Street Profits, man. They reign in Spain tonight, and we'll see how long the reign lasts. Now, their number one contenders are Pretty Deadly, who punched their ticket in the triple threat match last week against Motor City, who they pinned, and Los Garza was in that match as well. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And that's all, folks. Again, we got Roman on SmackDown next week. We got Cody Rhodes this Monday on St. Patrick's Day on Monday Night Raw. John Cena returns. He'll be on the next 3 Monday Night Raws, and we're in for a good one. So I'm going to hang out with you guys. Look at that. I got done before midnight with time to spare. So I'm going to head out of here in 3 minutes, guys. I'm going to wrap it up at midnight exactly here. Any comments, I'll get to you here. But be sure, before I get out of here, hit that thumbs up, guys. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. And please, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Let's see here. SmackDown 8-8. Yeah, that's fair, H. Yeah, I would give it around 8-5, around 8-8 maybe. Ricochet tweeted that he would smash. watch The Miz in a promo. Yeah, that's funny, Nas. And did you watch the recent clip of him and Van Vliet where I watched it actually during SmackDown where Ricochet said Cody deserved it and all that stuff. Ricochet's leaning full time into that heel persona. Why not? I mean, hey, the babyface stuff wasn't working in WWE or AEW, so Ricochet, I respect him because look, he got nothing to lose. And Ricochet is always going to be great in ring. His Achilles heel has always been his promo work. So if at this stage of Ricochet's career that he could really lean into this heel stuff, hey man, I'm here for it. I'm here for it and heel for it. You hear that? I didn't even mean that. I'm here for the heel Ricochet. I didn't even mean that pun. But to be honest, Ricochet is still going to be cringe, even in a heel capacity. Not all the time, but without a doubt, that's just in his nature. So he might as well roll with the punches. He might as well try to upset as many people as possible because he does that even when he tries to be the good guy. Yeah, probably be on TikTok in a few, guys. Guys, I'm out of here in a minute. Again, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, hit the like button, all right? Also, be sure to subscribe to Turnbuckle Topics here on YouTube. This Sunday, I'm still working on a time, probably be closer to 9 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday. I'll get on earlier if I can. We'll be doing a Austin 316 Day episode on TikTok Live Sunday night, okay? We're going to do all things Austin, talk about some memories, moments, matches, promos, may do some Austin trivia. Bring it if you like a bit cold beverage, bring a couple cold ones. You can't probably be on camera with it. Well, you guys won't. I'll try not to, but we're going to enjoy ourselves this Sunday, all right, guys? So I hope to see all you there. Again, thank you for joining me tonight. SmackDown overall was good, Cal. I give it probably an 8.5 at minimum. 8.5 or so, upwards of a 9, but probably 8.5. But again, guys, thank you for joining me. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe, and I will be back here immediately following. Well, Raw is on 3 o'clock, right? Netflix. It's on the afternoon. All right. So the rest of the Monday Night Raws, the next 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks for Monday Night Raw, I will be on here at 9 p.m. Okay, I'll be on here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Mondays for the next 3 weeks. The rest of March, 9 p.m. Because Raw will be coming on in the afternoon the next 3 weeks, being that they are international. I think it's 3 o'clock this week, 4 the following week, and 3 on the 31st. So all that said, guys, have a great weekend. Catch you soon. Catch you Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time for a Raw review. Be sure to hit the subscribe, that like button, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.